This is the 8th video in a series of 10 videos that I'm making about my experience reading 10 Swedish books in a single month. If you're new to the playlist, no, I didn't cheat. I mean proper books. Unless you're one of those people who thinks that audiobooks is cheating, in which case, definitely cheated. If you want to see the rest of the series, then the playlist will be in the description. But if you want things like bonus videos, articles, podcasts, answers to specific questions, etc., then the link to my Patreon will also be in the description. Cool, nu kör vi. And today we're talking about reading stuff you don't like. What? That's like looking directly at the sun. Everyone knows you should only read things you like. In general, yes, the aim is to make the language enjoyable. And more than that, to the best of our knowledge, it seems that language is best acquired when the content is so enjoyable that we don't even notice the language that is being used to convey meaning. We just comprehend and enjoy the meaning. So yes, you should definitely read things you enjoy. But every now and then you're going to get a little way into something before you realize that you're just not feeling it. And I think on occasion it is good to say, I'm going to finish this anyway. One reason that I say this is that if you're always chasing only the very most compelling input, there's a danger that you'll start getting too picky and that you'll never even finish anything that you think is even okay, and you'll thereby further limit your reading options because your reading level will progress so much more slowly. This is an extension of the idea that as language learners, we need to learn to tolerate discomfort and low-level comprehension. When you're first starting out and you don't understand very much, it can be quite an uncomfortable experience. But as you learn to understand more, your discomfort goes down and your enjoyment goes up. And you'll get better at this feeling of just not knowing what's going on. But eventually, you'll reach a point that your tolerance for discomfort actually starts dropping off as well, because you'll understand so much that you don't even need that tolerance anymore. And as language learners, even at a higher level, we want to keep this tolerance for discomfort. It's a useful tool to have. So every now and then, pushing through a book that just isn't your thing is a good way to keep that in check. Now, obviously you don't want to do this all the time, but you should notice that after pushing something that was a little bit too heavy or too complex or just wasn't your thing, everything else will feel easier and more comfortable and therefore will be more useful to you as a language learner. But there's another good reason to occasionally read things you don't like, and that is that as an intermediate or even early advanced learner, you may be totally mistaken as to why you're not enjoying a book. You might just assume it's not a very good book, but it's actually that you missed one or two important details in the first chapter. And if you keep reading, you'll probably get the chance to find this out. Oh, hang on. She didn't murder a pot plant, she murdered her husband. Now I understand why the police got involved. But if you always just stop reading the moment that you lose interest in a book, then you'll never get a chance for the book to tell you that you've been making this mistake, and your vocabulary and general competence and comprehension just won't improve very quickly. The beauty of reading is that it's the fastest way to take in large amounts of the language, and the more you do that, the more words will just find a way of making their meaning clear to you. And by the way, if you're not enjoying a book, that doesn't mean you have to turn it into a linguistic exercise. Like, okay, because I'm not liking this book, then I'll just have to learn 300 words from it and that be its value to me. You don't have to do that. If you don't like it, you can just get halfway through it and say, well, I'm going to finish this, and by doing that, I'm increasing my tolerance for discomfort in general. So if you want to check out the next video in this series, I'll be talking about the conscious and subconscious minds. That should be easy in 5 minutes.